Hey friend, Sean with Guided Productions. Today I am super pumped. I'm excited. One might even say jazzed. Do people say that anymore? Can you tell by my face? The reason I'm so excited is because I'm kicking off a new video series called How to Film a Video from Scratch. That's right, over the next 6 weeks, I'm gonna walk you through the entire pre-production and production process from developing your idea, honing your message, all the way to the day of the shoot. That'll then kick off part 2 of the video series, which would be how to edit a video from scratch, where we'll take that awesome footage that you developed in part 1, cut it in Premiere Pro, and export a polished and clean cut video that you can be proud of. Better yet, I'm actually gonna walk through this process with you. I have an idea for a video that I'd like to create. And so I'll use my video as a real life example. We're gonna go through this entire process together. Now, before we go any further, friend, if you have not already downloaded my 6 steps to creating better video guide, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. Pause the video right now, take 60 seconds, either click the link in the description below, or just go to guidedproductions.com/bettervideoguide, download your free copy. There's not a hidden agenda here. Maybe I'll email you from time to time about exciting things I'm working on. But the real point is I've created this guide. I've packaged my creative process into this really easy to follow PDF checklist guide to help you through all your video projects. And a lot of what we're gonna talk about in this video series will come directly from that guide. So it'd be really useful for you to have that alongside. I know it's gonna be helpful, if not now, for sure in the future. So go ahead and pause the video. I'll wait. All right, that's long enough. Let's get started and talk about the number one thing that is critical, that is most fundamental, that everything hinges on in your entire video. That's your message. Let's get started. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking, well, couldn't I just take a camera, shoot some video and call it a day? Well, sure you could, but there's not enough emphasis on the pre-production side of video production. And that's because a lot of people just want to skip right to the fun stuff, right? Shooting the video. Personally, I love to edit. That's all the way at the end. Editing is my favorite part, but you got to do the legwork up front if you want to have anything useful. Now, the most important, critical, and fundamental thing to your video is gotta be your message, because everything hinges off of that. It's gonna determine where you need to shoot, right? What location you're shooting and what backdrop makes the most sense. It's gonna tell you what gear you need, because you'll understand the style of video that you need to share, that you're gonna use, the medium that you're gonna deliver your video. Is it a presidential address style video or talking head video, much like what we're doing here right now? Is it a dialogue between 2 or more people where you need multiple microphones and lights? Or is it more in the style of a commercial where you may have some B-roll footage and a voiceover behind that? All of these things are going to be determined by the message that you're putting out into the world. So there's a lot of pressure that comes down to that story or that message. How do you know that your message is going to land with your audience, that it's going to resonate with your viewer? Well, I'm going to give you 3 critical questions that you need to answer. If you answer them truthfully, honestly, and in this order, everything else is going to become obvious and simple for you. So let's get started with critical question number 1, which is, who the heck is your audience? The first thing we have to do is to describe our viewer. And I use the word describe here very intentionally, because we got to get specific about the one person that we're speaking to on the other side of the camera. Now, I know what you're thinking, Sean, I want my video to be seen by hundreds or thousands, if not millions. I want that for you too. But how often do you watch videos in group or crowd settings? Almost never. So we want to make sure that we're speaking directly to the person on the other side of the camera, almost like we're having a conversation. Because the truth is, if you create a video for everyone, you really create a video for no one. Nobody wants to hear a general statement. They want to know that you're speaking directly to them, their needs, their challenges, and that's what we're going to do here with our messaging. Now, having come from the world of sales, we used a phrase called ideal client profile to better describe our prospective buyers. It helped us identify their needs, their potential needs, maybe anticipate some of the challenges that they're facing, the kinds of things that they're coming up against within their specific industry. Now, all of this was designed to help us as the salesperson create tailored sales presentations so that we could come in with the solution to their problem and save the day. Now, we're going to do the same thing with our viewers or our audience, and we'll call it our ideal viewer profile, or IVP for short, and use that framework going forward. So what is it that we're exactly looking for here to identify our IVP or our viewer profile? Well, here are a few questions just to get your mind kind of in the right place. What are some of the challenges that your viewer may be facing as related to your message? The kind of things that you can help out with. What are some of the things that they've tried before that haven't worked? This could be causing some frustration on their end. Are they looking for a long-term solution or just a quick fix? And where do they consume most of their content? Answering these questions are going to help us identify that ideal client profile, that ideal viewer profile, right? This is the one person that we're going to be speaking to for the rest of your video. So make sure you take some time here, put some really good thought in. And I'm actually going to read to you what I came up with for my video. I'd like to create a welcome video for Guided Productions that will live on the website. I don't want it to be too general, but it is going to be for those that are kind of coming into the website and trying to figure out if they're in the right place or not. So let me read to you what it is that I've written so far. This message is for those who are new to video and don't know where to start. You're frustrated because your smartphone videos just don't seem to match the production quality that you're seeing online. Now, maybe you've been asked to help run social media at your local church because you have a creative side, but there's no budget for gear. Or perhaps you work for a small company without a marketing team and you're just trying to fill the gap until your team expands. Either way, you don't have the time, the funds, or frankly the need to enroll in film school. You just need some help that'll last. If any of this sounds like you've come to the right place. So hopefully you can see how I described my IVP as it pertains to my welcome video for Guided Productions. It is general, yes, but I'm not speaking to the directors of Hollywood or those who have gone off to film school. I'm speaking to you over there with a smartphone who's trying to figure out if this video thing is even possible. You don't have a whole lot of budget for gear. That's what Guided Productions is all about, and likely why even you're here. So that is who I will be speaking to in my video. So take some time to really identify who it is that you're going to speak to in yours. Okay, so now that we've answered the first critical question, who is your audience? Let's move on to critical question number 2. Why should they care about what you have to say? Now, Theodore Roosevelt was credited for saying, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care, right? It's not enough to know who we're speaking with, but we have to understand why they're going to spend their time with us in the first place. Because on the other side of the screen, they're asking themselves, what's in it for me, right? What transformation am I going to get? Is this person even credible? That's why it's so important to really spend some time on those questions I mentioned before, so you can come to your viewer and say, look, I've experienced these challenges, right? I've tried X, Y, or Z, nothing worked. I spent hours on YouTube trying to find a solution only to get these quick fixes that brought me back to square one. It's frustrating, it's time consuming, frankly, it sucked all the way around no matter how you spin it. But guess what? I found a way out and I'm excited to share that with you. You see that pulls your viewer into the conversation. You're not making anything up. This is authentic. You're being honest and trustworthy here, but you're building that credibility saying, hey, I've been there too. I know what it feels like, but I can show you a way out. So this is just a good example. Let's see how this might play out in my welcome video for Guided Productions. Now, I actually pulled this messaging right from the first page of my 6 steps to creating better video guide. It's the messaging throughout my website. This is what Guided Productions is all about. So let me read this to you. Hey friend, it wasn't long ago that I was in your shoes navigating the ocean of YouTube in a desperate attempt to create professional looking video with limited gear and even less experience. I've always been captivated by the magic of the big screen, but even more perplexed when I discovered the same illusions coming from home editing setups. And it became my mission to reverse engineer the creative process and develop a roadmap for those who wish to do the same. So you can start to see how I become much more relatable because I understand what it feels like to be frustrated and overwhelmed when starting out in video. So much so that I've made it my mission to eliminate the overwhelm, eliminate the discouragement, and pave the way for a better path forward. So now that we know who we're speaking with, we know why they should spend their time with us, let's move on to critical question number 3, the moment you've been waiting for, the heart of your message. What is it that you want your audience to do or know? Let's dive in. All right, my friend, it's finally time to create your story, the moment you've been waiting for, but we've got to package this thing into a framework that's easy to follow so that your viewer knows exactly what to expect, right? We want them to remember a few key takeaways, and if there's a call to action, we want them to know exactly what it is that you want them to do after watching your video. So what framework are we going to use here? Well, believe it or not, it's something you probably learned in elementary school. That's right, I'm talking beginning, middle, and end. There's no need to overcomplicate things here. We just need to be clear and concise. So we're going to open it up with an introduction, move to the body of your message. This is where you'll have your bullet points or key takeaways. And then we're going to wrap everything up in a nice bow in your conclusion. This is also where your call to action will go. If you're going to have one, I just recommend being highly specific so that your viewer knows exactly the action they need to take after watching your video. Now, friend, I know this sounds so basic, but it's still the most effective way to communicate over video because it's so easy to follow and it allows you to reinforce some bullet points along the way. So rather than share my entire script for my welcome video, I want you to take some time, get creative, and start to build out your story. Start to ideate and think about how you can frame your story. If you need some inspiration, just go to my Guided Productions YouTube channel and check out any of my videos. You'll notice that I use the same framework in just about every video. And so now that you know my super secret video creating formula, you're probably never going to watch my videos the same way again. Either way, get out there and start creating, start building that story, and let's talk about how we can put it all together. All right, my friend, we know exactly who our message is written for. We know the impact it'll have on them and why they should care to listen. And of course, we know what we want them to know or do after watching your video. So after answering these 3 critical questions, it should become obvious to you which style of video will be best suited to deliver that message. Is it going to be the presidential address or a talking head style video, much like this one is? Are you going to choose the interview style video where you have dialogue between 2 or more people? Or are you going to shoot a commercial where you have B-roll footage and a voiceover behind? Either way, knowing your story is going to help lend itself so that you can figure out which style of video is best suited for your message. Now, if we use my welcome video as an example, that's absolutely going to be a talking head style video. I'll be speaking directly one-on-one to the viewer to help them validate that they've come to the right place in choosing guidedproductions.com. Now, friend, one more thing I want to leave you with before you go. I love editing. Out of the entire pre-production, production, and post-production process, editing video is my favorite part by far. But I don't shortcut the writing process just so that I can edit faster. Whether you love to write or you hate to write, the message is the most fundamental component of your video upon which everything else is built. So take the time to get it right, develop your story. You will really thank yourself in the long run. And come back next week. We're going to talk about scouting locations for your video and identify the best backdrop that's relevant and doesn't cause any distractions for your video. I'll cover all that next week. But until then, my friend, get out there, create something amazing, work on your story, and I will see you on a new video real soon.